Hello, David Michalek here, and welcome to this video. I appreciate you taking a couple of moments out to watch this information. And I'm going to talk to you about the truth behind why 99.4% of all network marketers lose money, and how the new rich are building massive downlines by breaking all the rules. I know that's quite a title and quite a claim, but I'm going to walk you through this process. And I'm going to talk to you about the Network Marketing Masterclass series. Now, again, my name is David Michalek. If you've not been on my list for a while, you are probably asking yourself, well, who's this guy and why should I listen to him? Well, the first thing is I failed at 4 different network marketing companies throughout the 1980s and early 1990s. I was one of the hardest working guys. I did everything that my upline told me to do, very much the same things that are being taught now. And then I actually quit. I left in 1991 and walked away from it for about 14 years. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about that in just a couple of seconds here. But I came back again in 2005, worked it real hard again, almost quit again, learned the tools I'm going to talk to you about in this video. And then in 2007, I was able to sponsor 229 people personally, 1,857 in my group, and bring in $2 million, just a little bit above that, in sales volume. So I hope I have your attention. Now, this is a real number, and I'm going to talk to you about how I did that and how thousands upon thousands of network marketers all around the world are building businesses just like that using the tools that you're not being taught. First, I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of history about myself. I did start in 1988. I saw all those numbers and diagrams and zeros and so forth on the board, and I bought product and sales tools, and I got started. I made my list. I was a network marketing machine. I talked to everybody and anybody. They didn't even need to be in my 3-foot area for me to talk to them. I was so aggressive because the prospect of making a lot of money and creating an incredible residual income was so motivating for me that I was very, very ambitious. I already said that. I can see I'm already having problems with my PowerPoint presentation. And I handed out tons and tons of samples. In fact, I think that's probably where most of my money went. And because I was such a hard worker, and I was a very, very young guy at the time. I was actually about 19 years old. They kind of called me the wonder boy and the hardest working guy in the organization here in Southern California, that I actually got a chance to get up on stage a couple of times in front of hundreds of people. In fact, here I am at my first network marketing convention right there. That's 1989. Wow, 20 years ago. In my 3 years of network marketing from 1988 to 1991, I joined 4 different companies with the dream of making something happen, and ultimately I recruited about 15 good people. I mean, I can't remember how many people I actually sponsored, but 15 people who really tried to work the business. I found myself spending a lot more money than I was making. I estimated around $15,000 on sales tools and conventions and seminars and so forth. It's really easy to start going into debt in network marketing trying to get the tools that you need. My biggest paycheck of all time was right around $350. And eventually I joined the NFL, and not the cool NFL that you get to watch on Sunday. I'm talking about the No Friends Left Club, because nobody wanted to hang out with me anymore, because all I would talk about was this millionaire maker business opportunity. I was very enthusiastic. But eventually I became a statistic. I became just like 99% of the people who joined network marketing, although at the time I wasn't aware that that was the statistic. And by the way, that statistic's been around for about 30 years. It hasn't changed a bit. So I walked away from network marketing frustrated. I mean, I tucked my tail in between my legs. I figured I just didn't have what it took, or I didn't work hard enough. I didn't know what the answer was, but I got frustrated and I left. Fortunately, I was able to create a tremendous amount of success in other businesses. The primary business that I had in 2005 was I was a commercial and industrial real estate investor. I was also responsible for investing other people's money into real estate. And because of that, I had a very successful image. I had the big house and the nice expensive things. And these are things that I knew were going to benefit me as a network marketer, because we all think about the bigwig network marketers and how they throw around a lot of flash. And well, in 2005, I really wasn't as well informed as I am now about network marketing, but I just figured that these were going to be big advantages. But my prized possession was my 650 person warm market. Now, these were mostly professionals, people whose money I was investing. These were attorneys and doctors and accommodators and accountants and business owners. So, and we were all in some way involved in real estate. In 2005, and if you remember, we did go through this big real estate boom, which, we're paying for now. But in 2005, anybody who was in real estate that was good at what they did realized that was getting ready to turn and that market was getting ready to go sour. So I thought, what better of a time to be involved in a ground floor network marketing business than at that time with that group of people. So I felt really, really good. And I just felt that I had a very unfair advantage. And by the way, I'm not trying to, be arrogant or flashy with this picture, but this was just taken for a real estate publication that was done. And the thing about being a commercial and industrial real estate investor at that time is if you didn't have the flash, people didn't think you're any good at what you did. It's kind of like if you to see a doctor who's going to do a surgery on you and he pulled up in a Pinto, you probably might start thinking that maybe he's not a great doctor. So the first thing that I did is I made my list and I started talking to people. And rather than going to the hotel meetings, myself and my upline, we did the hotel meetings. We got up in front of huge groups of people and pitched this business. We did very, very well. I was the king of three-way calls. I was always doing three-way calls. Even though I was running a pretty busy real estate business, I always had time to do three-way calls somehow. I gave out more sample packs and DVDs than I could possibly ever count. I had a whole closet full of them and always gave them out. And if I didn't have one on me, which is very rare, I always had them in my car, in my bag, I would send people to an online video presentation of our business. I also did the sizzle call. So I was really one of the guys that was leading the charge for this business. When I burned through my warm market, which didn't take very long at all, I started buying BizOp leads or business opportunity leads. Because I had a contract with the local paper out here for my real estate business, I also started running business opportunity ads. And I jumped online too. I had no idea what I was doing. I've never done internet traffic at all, but I figured I'll read a book and I'll just throw some money at it and it'll figure itself out. So for the first couple of months, I did incredibly, incredibly well. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be saying, oh, well, David, who cares? Guys like you who have success in other businesses, you just bring that over into your network marketing business. And what does that have to do with me? And if I were sitting right next to you right now, I would say you're completely and totally right. But let me just show you how this unfolded before you try to label me too quickly. Here are my results after 4 months in that network marketing business, working as hard as I was, bringing people in, being doing everything that my upline told me to do times 10, just like I did back in the 80s. I sponsored 18 people. Out of all the people that I talked to, only 18 saw the vision that I saw, and 12 of them quit within 90 days. I spent about $7,000 on product and sales tools. I burned a lot of bridges, and that's the thing I'm probably most disappointed about. Is a lot of people that I did business with didn't appreciate me pitching them a pyramid scheme type of thing. And my biggest check was $400 and some. And the funny thing is I never cashed that check because it was a reminder of how hard I worked for so little money. I think I've got it around here somewhere. So my net loss was somewhere around $6,000. And again, I was about to become a statistic. Only this time, I didn't tuck my tail in between my legs and just leave because I'd already had 2 successful businesses under my belt. So I had a sense, and maybe this was just overconfidence, but it probably wasn't me this time. So I decided to do something that I couldn't do back in the 1980s and early 90s because the tool didn't exist then. I got on the internet and I started doing some research, and I read and I read and I read. And eventually I discovered the reasons why 99.4% of all network marketers fail. Now I know that's a huge number, and you might be saying, well, that can't be possible. I'm absolutely going to prove that to you in this video right here. Now this isn't going to be all doom and gloom. I'm going to show you how people build big businesses and the tools that they use, that I use to make that work. But I want you to understand this real quickly. The reason why network marketers fail is because network marketing businesses revolve around the 2 deadly network marketing myths. Now, these are the business strategies that were invented by Amway in the 1950s, and they're still being taught today. So imagine that. These are tools that are 50-some years old, and they're still being taught in the internet age. Now, by the way, I'm going to share these with you, and they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge everything that you believe to be real about network marketing. So what I'm going to ask from you right now is just to keep an open mind. I'm going to back up everything that I say. It's not going to be doom and gloom like I said, but I want you to understand this because it's very, very critical.